record. So now we are sitting in front of the screen. It's a kind of a special way to practice this. Now sit in your comfort position. I'm going to use my fingers to guide you. Oh, let me close my background. The background will hide my finger. Where do I do that?
I'm actually going to move into my chair. It's a bit more comfortable.
Good idea. Yeah, my background is gone. So this is the neat part. You get to be at comfort in your home.
Yeah.
And you know there's not going to be any intruder and it's safe. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Okay. So now I'm going to use my finger to guide your eye movement. See if you can follow. I'll start fast and let me know if it's comfortable.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good. This height, is this height good?
Yeah, maybe a little bit lower. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Let's try one more set. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. So the goal is just go as fast as you can tolerate. You don't need to try very hard to focus on the fingers. Just a way to guide your eye move back and forth. If there are times when a change of direction can be helpful, so would it be okay for me to practice diagonal movement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's try. Yeah, good. This is good, I can see the feedback you are tracking.
Okay.
There are times when it can be useful to switch from eye movement to tapping. Would it be okay to practice tapping on your knees? Or since we're in virtual, yeah, maybe butterfly tapping, and can you follow my pace?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I will ask you when I sense it's useful to switch from one to the other. So the EMDR process is intended to bring balance to your system, to enable your brain and your body to heal, tap into the healing power. I will be asking you some questions with the intention of helping you to find the root of your presenting issue. As we have discussed, some disturbing experiences may become stored in your system with the original images, sounds, thoughts, emotions, and even body sensations. When these memories are activated in the present, it may feel like an overreaction, but it is just the inadequately processed memories that are being activated. So as we go through this process, the best thing you can do is notice your experience and give me honest feedback. It doesn't have to be in very specific details, as much as you're comfortable or as little as you're comfortable. So if you need to try to do anything, you really don't need to try to do anything besides just let the process working its own way, the system working its own way. I will do the eye movements for a while and then stop and ask you what you're noticing. At that time, you can just give me a snapshot of what you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need to know everything about your experience. Whatever you experience is okay. Okay, some people would like to use the metaphor of watching the experience go by, like looking out of a moving train, window of a moving train, or like the train, you're sitting in the train, the sceneries can be either beautiful or distressing, but you are in the train and the train keeps moving. You're not in the scenery. Another way of thinking of it is watching a video on the screen. You kind of know the general theme because it's part of your memory, but you don't necessarily know every screen, how it's going to play out. So just sit back and let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And at any point, if you would like to stop, can you give me a signal? Let's agree on a signal. Either you put your hand up or a timeout.
I'll probably do a timeout.
Sounds good. That's our so at any point, if you feel like you want to stop
Mm-hmm.
by doing that. Okay. Now, this section, there's some questions we're going to work together to try to get to the root of some present issue and identify a target to work on. So when you think of examples, if it'll be helpful if it could be a specific time and situation that actually happened. Please tell me some way you feel limited in your present life or a current symptom you would like to focus on.
I don't like how it takes me a long time to acknowledge that I need to reach out for help.
It's a barrier of reaching out.
Mm-hmm. When you are contemplating or in the ambiguous of reaching out for help, what is difficult for you to do instead, especially when the people closest in your life? To admit that I need somebody else.
Okay.
That they would be able to be there for me, acknowledging even that possibility.
So it's kind of twofold. One is admit that you need them.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I'm not able to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
That acknowledgement on your own, on your side. But the second is like, when you do reach out, they can deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that might be more of the issue of like, it doesn't even cross my mind as a possibility. I would be able to deliver.
Can I count on it? What's the point of reaching out if I can't even count on, or everything?
Like, it's not even an option.
Hmm. Um, so can I try to rephrase that? So the more difficult thing for you to do is to just reach out, and without that negative anticipation or expectation of they no one will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anticipation, I'm gonna fall on the ground without, even after that's worse than I just fall by myself without asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yuck. Yeah. So let's look at the times in your life when you actually try to do the more difficult thing, and you just reach out. Hey, it didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of those times?
It didn't go well. Yes. I had a fight with close girlfriends a year ago when I was trying to reach out. Some deep misunderstandings. It was via text. And there was accusation of being pretty careless and reckless, when I think in reality, I just didn't know how to communicate in that moment what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Things got skewed, and we had about 2 months of silence.
Oh,
Very painful.
Yeah. So that experience, no wonder you hesitate to reach out again. Please, can you think of a recent time that would be an example of this issue that happened a year ago? Do you have another recent example?
Yes. My ex, when he and I were dating,
Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to be vulnerable with him and share about myself, because he had some questions about some things.
Mm-hmm.
And when I shared with him, he wasn't a very nice guy.
Mm.
But when I shared with him, he was very quiet and didn't respond, and kind of didn't talk to me for a few days about that topic. And then when we did talk again, it was about him.
Yeah.
When it was actually a really tough topic for me, and
Oh.
yeah, so just.
When was that?
A year and a half, almost 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay. About 2 years. It's a gesture. You showing vulnerability is a gesture. You reaching out for emotional support. Instead, you got almost like yeah, totally
ignored your need.
Mm-hmm.
That's example in an intimate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of example how this shows up in your life socially? Well, that girlfriend example could be one if you haven't done that.
Yeah, I think my closest girlfriend and I have been friends since we were 4, but there was a period in our friendship where she was struggling with her eating disorder, and she just had zero capacity to be there
Mm,
for me.
mm,
And while she was struggling with her eating disorder, she would lash out
mm,
too. And we can talk about that openly, but it was a long enough period of time where it was a deep enough rupture where it took more years to repair and to just come back to a place where we both could reach out and be vulnerable without.
yeah, have the reciprocal
Yeah.
support. How
Mm-hmm.
long ago was that? Maybe, do you have a time frame? How long ago was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's still painful to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of an example how this shows up in your life at work or in career?
Yeah. So I was on an ACT team in Kent County,
Mm-hmm.
and there were times when having vulnerabilities and being honest about what you needed,
Mm-hmm.
like I need a lunch break kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
was met with a lot of resistance and like a perception that you were being selfish.
Mm.
Like, why do you think you deserve a lunch break when we all don't get a lunch break? And I pointed that out of like, I don't think that's healthy for any of us. I think we all need a lunch break. And that was me being insubordinate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's maybe a year ago, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So every time you show your vulnerability, it's just never end well. How as you bring up this worst part of this issue, what's the worst part right now?
I think the block I feel, where I hate that it's reinforcing something that I already was believing. Like I'm like taking steps to try to build that vulnerability with safe people. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the kickback being.
You see it as a pattern, but it
Yeah.
still gets reinforced every time. Yeah. How disturbing does it feel now on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is no disturbance or neutral, 10 is the highest you can imagine?
Probably 4.
Okay.
4.5 maybe.
4.5.
Mm-hmm.
When you bring up this disturbance, what is a negative belief you have about yourself? What does it say about you?
I'm not allowed to have needs.
Can we take it further as a using this shorter statement, kids language.
I am a burden.
I am a burden.
I am needy. Let's say I'm needy is a more charged statement.
You feel it's more painful-ish. I'm needy. When you bring up the worst part of this present issue and the words that I'm needy, what is an earlier time you can remember experiencing something similar?
I think I'm a burden might be better.
I'm a burden.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think needy trips me up cognitively. So burden would probably be a more body.
I'm a burden. How about can I offer a couple more, see which one?
Yeah.
I don't matter. Or I'm a burden. I don't matter. I'm invisible.
Probably still I'm a burden.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you bring up the worst part of this present issue in the words, I'm a burden. What is the earlier time you can remember that you experienced something similar?
Anytime I would express that I'd want to be involved in something in high school or middle school, my dad would just immediately get angry and frustrated about how much it would probably cost.
Is there a specific occasion when you asked to be in one?
When I expressed wanting to go to choir camp, because I was pretty good at singing and choral singing.
Dad immediately got mad.
Yeah.
Was that high school or middle school?
That was high school. I was 17.
Yeah, okay. And is there an earlier time you experienced something similar?
Every year, the school would have book order. Actually, every month. And I remember asking early on if I could. I love reading. And I was always told that no, we don't have money for that. Then when my younger sister started school, she got book order every month. And so that was about 5th grade where I pointed out that inconsistency. And that's when I got a ton of book orders, but it really didn't like fix it because it was like my parents were trying to repair it, but it was like
you
didn't do.
Yeah, you were treated equally. So that's 5th grade. How about an earlier time?
When I was in 1st grade, I got hurt pretty badly on the playground. I was playing jump rope and I fell, and then someone landed on me, which meant I hit the cement with my head and it
Oh,
scraped a foot or two
oh.
on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have gone to the ER. I probably should have had stitches. I probably had a concussion. But my teacher called my mom and said it wasn't that bad. She didn't give me a squishy blue thing. She gave me actually a Tupperware full of ice. So how do you put a Tupperware against your rounded forehead?
Didn't even get a proper ice pack.
And then I went home on the bus and was teased on the bus for the goose egg on my head. And then when I got home, my parents didn't do anything about it.
Mm.
So.
You think of an earlier time?
I was in preschool,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first time I had to go to the bathroom that wasn't during our like bathroom break.
Oh.
And I did not feel as though I had the right to ask anyone to go to the bathroom. And so I then went to a corner and just peed
Oh.
there. And then they brought my mom in, and my mom scolded me because she's like, you just need to ask. And I remember looking at her and just being like, but how? Like, I was so confused. Like, I don't know how. Oh.
As if your ability of asking for help was already silenced in preschool. Can you think of an earlier time than preschool?
My sister had colic when she was born. And I remember not getting, or like all focus was on her, I guess. Mm-hmm. And her colic would keep me up at night because we shared a bedroom. Mm-hmm. Her colic would make me cry because it was so awful. Mm. The sound, like her scream was so awful. Mm. And I would just sit at the bottom of my mom's rocking chairs. She's rocking my sister. And like, I just felt helpless. Like I didn't know what to do. And
yeah. How old were you?
4.5 when she was born.
Yeah. Can you think of an earlier time?
I don't think so. No.
An earlier time?
Mm-mm.
Prior to 4.5. Okay. How about we use the 4.5 year memory as the target for our processing today? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Not supposed to happen. Okay. Will you bring up that memory at 4.5 when your sister was first born? What image represents the worst part?
Probably my mom rocking her in the rocking chair with her just screaming.
Mhm. What words go best with that picture that express a negative belief about yourself?
I'm not allowed to have needs. Having needs would make me a burden, I guess. But
What would that 4-year-old would say? I'm a burden. I don't matter.
I don't matter.
I don't matter.
Mhm.
When you bring up the picture, what would you prefer to believe about yourself instead?
I do matter.
When you think of that memory, that image, how true do these words, I do matter, feel to you now on a scale of 1 to 7? 1 means completely false, 7 is completely true.
Three.
When you bring up that image and those words, I don't matter, what emotion do you feel now?
Frustrated and sad.
Where do you feel it in your body?
In my upper gut, right underneath my rib cage.
On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is no disturbance or neutral, 10 is the highest you can imagine, how disturbing does it feel now?
6.
Okay. Now I would like you to bring up that image, those negative words, I don't matter, and notice where you're feeling your upper gut, follow my fingers. What are you noticing now?
I'm thinking about my mom.
Go with that. You're doing great. What are you getting now?
I'm angry.
Okay. It's okay. Let it be here. Let it be here, as big, as small as it needs to be. What are you noticing now?
I'm angry at my sister. I'm asking the question, why can't you just stop crying?
Go with that. What are you noticing now?
I'm feeling resentment.
It's been there for a long time. Let it be here. Go. It's okay to feel all these feelings. What are you getting now?
I'm thinking a lot about my relationship with my sister.
Yeah. Go with that. What do you notice now?
I feel disgust.
Go with that. What are you getting now?
I'm still feeling disgust, but towards both of my parents.
Keep going. Things are moving. Just notice. Really feel it. What do you notice now?
A little bit less in my stomach and more in my jaw and temple area.
Bring up the original memory. What's the worst part now?
When my mom would be, when my sister would stop crying, my mom would just stop parenting. She was so exhausted. So like me waiting to have her
Or
attention.
nothing.
Getting it.
Yeah. Go with that. What are you noticing now?
My jaw really hurts.
Just notice the physical sensation. Let go of the story and just give it some attention. What are you noticing now?
I'm traveling up a little bit. Still in my jaw, but it's traveling up.
Yeah. There's some physiological sensation just need to be released. Keep noticing just exactly how your body feels. What are you noticing now?
I kind of distracted myself thinking of something else.
Mm. It happens. It's painful to be with that stuff. When you bring up the original image, what's the worst part of it now?
That I'm unnoticed.
What's the emotion you're feeling?
Frustrated.
Go with that. What are you noticing now?
You want to stand up in that memory.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
When you bring up the original memory, what's the worst part you feel now?
My mom not looking at me.
How does that feel?
Like she's annoyed with me or disappointed in me.
You can feel her emotions. Go with that. What are you getting now?
I want to scream at her. Respond with, you're annoyed, you decided to have children.
You can say it out loud. Want to say it again?
You're annoyed, you decided to have children.
That's what the 4-year-old needed to say. Go with that. What are you noticing now?
I feel pretty gross in my gut.
Just notice that. It's just a physical sensation. What are you noticing now?
I'm feeling the urge to be spiteful.
Yeah. Is that what you were experiencing as a 4-year-old?
No, I think it's what I'm feeling now.
When you bring up the original memory, what's the worst part it feels now?
The silence.
Notice that. Go with it. What do you notice now?
My mom didn't want to take care of me in the silence.
Sad. When sister is not crying, you didn't get your needs met. Let the sadness be here. you feeling now? What are you getting now?
Kind of sensation in my gut, but not painful, just things are moving.
Go with that. Keep noticing. What do you notice now?
I'm thinking about other events where I'm trying to voice my needs.
Yeah. When you bring up the original memory, the image, how disturbing does it feel now on a scale of 0 to 10?
Two and a half.
What's the worst part of it now?
Trying to get my mom's attention.
Go with that. Must be frustrating. What are you getting now?
An image of my mom asleep in the rocking chair. And me just watching both of them.
That silence again. What emotion do you feel?
Helpless.
Go with that. Let it be here. It's okay to feel. What are you getting now?
I previously have had a lion come into memories, and the lion came in and was taking care of me while my mom sleeps in the rocking chair with my sister.
You had to have an imaginary friend to come fill the gap. How does that make you feel?
Safe and seen.
You have to fill up the gap for your mom with your imagination. That's a lot for a 4-year-old. Go with that. What are you getting now?
The lion just roared and woke up my mom. And just out of protest, almost.
The lion's care and warmth was really not a replacement. Yeah, that's really sad.
I feel quite protected and safe right now and advocated for with the lion, and this is my ally.
You have someone at your corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you bring up the original memory, the image on a scale of 0 to 10, how disturbing does it still feel right now?
Zero with the lion there. Yeah.
You just notice that. What do you notice?
I'm just hanging out with the lion.
On a scale of 0 to 10, when you have the original image, how disturbing does it feel now?
Probably a 1. And then with the lion there, it's a 0. The original image without the lion is probably a 1 still.
Yeah, the lion is probably one of your helpers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay that we explore that one a little more. What's the worst part of that one without the lion?
How alone I am.
Notice that feeling. Really feel it. You're feeling it for the 4-year-old. What are you noticing
I
now?
froze.
Oh, you too. Can you still hear me? Can you?
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi. You are still frozen.
It's broken up,
Back.
but I'm still.
It says.
Okay. Yeah. How is the connection?
Seems like we're back.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good.
Okay.
I just want to be mindful of the time. I have to be done in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. On a scale of 0 to 10, when you bring up the original memory, how disturbing does it feel now? That the lion.
Like a 0.5.
Yeah. What's the worst part of that right now?
It's like the emptiness around me. I think.
Just notice that. You are alone. What do you notice?
Feeling of being frozen. Like not being seen makes me feel frozen.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
That's probably what you had to do in that moment. Can you just notice that? Go with it. What do you notice now?
The same thing.
Yeah. On a scale of 0 to 10, how disturbing does the original memory still feel?
Still a 0.5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like starting from 4.5-year-old, you were left alone.
Mm-hmm.
go with that. What are you getting now?
Kind of a settled feeling.
Notice that. On a scale of 0 to 10, how disturbing does the original image still feel to you now?
0.
Without the lion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just notice that. And how disturbing does the original memory feel now?
0. And it's like that's when I would start to sometimes feel unreal.
Um,
That's kind of the feeling. It's a very like neutral,
is it,
nothing feeling.
or is it really no disturbance?
I think it's an unrealness versus a
Unrealness.
disturbance. Yeah. And that's why I think the lion needs to be included. The lion sees me, which makes me real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost like your reality is not confirmed by anyone, then it's not real.
Right.
Lion is the witness.
Yeah.
When you go back to the original memory,
Mm-hmm.
how true do these words, I do matter, does the notion that I do matter still fits?
Yeah, definitely.
How true do these words, I do matter, feel on a scale of 1 to 7? 1 means completely false, 7 is completely true when you bring up the original memory.
Without the lion, it feels lower. With the lion, it feels like a 7, but it doesn't feel like it's in my body. It's like this external.
It's kind of getting there, but yeah. Can you hold the memory and those words together and ask the lion to just watch what happens? Okay, notice those words and the memory. I do matter. What do you notice?
The lion wrapped me up, walked around me and like used its entire body and tail to like wrap me up. The lion needs to be in the memory.
Mm. Okay, yeah. So how true do those words, I do matter, feel to you against the backdrop of the original memory? 1 to 7.
Like a 4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
I do matter feels 4. Just notice that it's not quite there. What are you getting now?
I'm sitting with a lion wrapped up and warm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
How true do those words feel? I do matter when you bring up the original memory. 1 to 7. 1 means completely false. 7 is completely true.
Probably a 6.
Because of the time, let's wrap up. Just notice when you hold the memory and those words, I do matter together, what is left there to feel those words completely settle. And just notice what is left there. What are you getting?
That the lion like wants to take me out of the situation.
Yeah. Is there any lingering emotion you're feeling?
Emotion?
Yeah. Emotions that you are feeling in this moment.
Very neutral. Very like, yeah, it's not as present. The memory isn't as present.
Okay. So you are at a quite good state. I'm not going to continue with the container exercise right now. Just want to read the closure statement.
Mm-hmm.
The processing we have done today may continue after the session. You may or may not notice new insights, thoughts, memories, or dreams. If so, just notice what you're experiencing, and if you wish, you can record it on the memories and life slot. You have that.
Mm-hmm.
Use the resources we have worked on, help manage their disturbance. You are quite good at managing disturbance. Yeah, I totally have faith in you. So we can work on this next time. If necessary, call me and we can talk about this.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. You did. Okay, I'll hit stop recording.